Hi there. The United States once had a poet president. Yes, we did. Abraham Lincoln. And the last words of his most famous talk are words you know. That government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. That talk is called the Gettysburg Address, and it still matters, especially now when all disagreements seem to instantly go to DEFCON 1, if not to civil war. Lincoln had to deal with a real civil war. We are not having a real one now. We are not. We are dealing with the after effects of COVID and the so very many other things that are dividing us. There's abortion and religion, rich and poor, those who commit crime and those who suffer from it. So there's gun control and defund the police. And Black Lives Mattering, apparently more than blue lives or even all lives. Fox talks about coastal elites and flyover country. CNN has racism. What about political parties? What about sexes? I miss telling blonde jokes. Sports were once a refuge. Fans bragged on teams, baseball, football, global soccer rivalries. That's probably true of cricket and Calvin ball. You know, sports without rules, meant only to enjoy. It is sad that that's all so yesterday. Today we are divided. Wait, what about Presidents Trump and Biden? What was I thinking? Tomorrow we're going to be divided by planets. You only think that Klingons and Romulans are fictional. People are already signing up to go to Mars, and that's the truth. The list of what someone will be offended by just keeps on growing. I have a thought. I get them every now and then. I had a really good one last week, except I forgot it. This one, though, I'd like to remember. What about truth? Maybe we should share truths. They're real, you know. They're simple. They're easy to understand. They're things we should agree on. But, and there's always a but. You knew that was coming. Whether people will listen, whether people want to listen, that's another question. Our first video, 2 coins that add up to 26 cents, and one of them can't be a penny. Now that's a hard riddle for anybody who hears what they want to hear, what they expect to hear. And that's a useful truth. The U.S. suffered a bloody civil war over whether or not to cut state ties. Not these ties. The American Civil War answered whether it's these or the United States, a loose collection or a single powerful nation made up of states bonded together, the United States, the best country that has ever existed in the history of the world. Over 150 years ago, in 1863, President Lincoln gave his Gettysburg Address. And I don't mean 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I do not. Students once memorized his 3 minutes of talk. It starts, 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Some want it to be all men and women. Fine, I get it. You can't say fireman either. What I don't get is Lincoln being canceled because he only freed the slaves and ended slavery forever. I don't get that. You understand me? I don't get it. In his remarks, he later is going to say something that history has proven him to be wrong on. Not a lie, just wrong. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. His words will never be forgotten, and then he gives us something to do that has to do with civil war, back then and conflict today. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. He was our greatest president. Lincoln's work was left unfinished because he was murdered, assassinated weeks into his second term. He called on us to do, so that those in Gettysburg shall not have died in vain, giving freedom a new birth. A new birth. Not freedom fully grown. Lincoln knew that the United States was and is not perfect. Is there any excuse whatsoever for us to not continuing on with things that are unfinished or to address new ones? An eternal truth is that there are always challenges. Now, some find positive things to do. Others, well, it's sad that they find addiction in things like video games or worse, alcohol or drugs. By the way, sometimes the truth is just painful. You know, we all really want to hear that we're brilliant, that we're talented, that whatever. So believing lies can be really easy. There's also that sometimes half-truths are worse than a lie. The realtor's claim about the mortgage. If you don't understand that insurance, taxes, repairs, utilities, and all the rest have to be paid, don't understand that. Well, that unanticipated expenses can make you go bankrupt. That's an ugly truth. I am Mike for the Be More Better team. Thank you for watching. Now, I don't want to say that this one has been about my truth, because I think this one has been about the truth. Tell me what you think. And now a shout out to Richard. Thank you. Until the next time. Bye now. Thank you.